Tristen Law Show. If it's your first time here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. I'm Tristen Law, semi-retired pro wrestler. Today, I'm your host. Did Chris Jericho quietly leave WWE? Well, he already left WWE. But did Chris Jericho quietly leave AEW? Is Le Champion closing the book on AEW? Or is WWE about to get their walls broken down again? Wow. Today, we're diving into one of the juiciest stories in pro wrestling right now. Chris Jericho, the Ocho, by himself, he's been noticeably absent from AEW television. Well, are the rumors swirling? Is he eyeing a WWE return? Maybe even a surprise Royal Rumble appearance? The tea? It's hot. And the clues? They're all over the place. Buckle up, because I'm not alone. I'm here with my good friend Jess, the Captain, and we're going to be digging into Jericho's contract, his cruise, his fan buzz, and everything in between. What's going on, Jess?
Hey, Trish. Hey, chat. You know, I've missed you.
Aww.
So I've missed you all, always. Now y'all know, right? Look, y'all know I am a fan. Now, I don't watch AEW as much, but I do lock in, and I know who Chris Jericho is.
So do you know? So Jess, do you know who Chris Jericho is because of AEW, or do you know about Chris Jericho because of everything he's done before AEW?
Before AEW.
Okay, all right.
I was like, I heard about him when I did sporadically watch before everything became streaming. When I did sporadically watch, I did see him around with him and Cena around the early ages of the PG era. So I remember him and I understand the impact of who he is. Now let's talk about these rumors, Trish, because I too have been seeing some stuff like I think my favorite one right now. Apparently, he might be coming back home, bro.
Of course.
He might be going to the Hall of Fame.
I think that'd be so awesome.
Wouldn't that be cool? Like, now, we all know the one and only Stephanie McMahon, she is going.
Yeah, that's right. I totally forgot that she was going to the Hall of Fame.
So,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, WrestleMania is coming up in April. So we are going to be sporadically seeing every once in a while who's going in to the Hall of Fame. And wouldn't that be amazing to see Chris Jericho?
Well, speaking of April, you know, in AEW, Jericho's last appearance, it was April 2025. He took time off for the Fozzy tour, and he hasn't returned since. And there's no real official reason given. I think that Chris Jericho ghosting AEW is strategic. It's not personal, Jess. I think it's protecting his brand for his final big chapter elsewhere, and I think that AEW knows it. You know, his contract expires December 2025. It expires this year. And he had a 3-year contract extension that he signed in October 2022. There's no TV references to Chris Jericho since the spring. So I think that AEW is quietly they're handling Razor's red flags. The way that they're just doing the whole entire thing. AEW, they avoid referencing talents in flux. You know, Jericho's faction, the Jericho Appreciation Society, is disbanded. There's no loose ends there. Everything is tied up. So what does it mean for AEW if Chris Jericho leaves?
I would think it's kind of sort of like what the Dudley brothers did over there at, I believe, TNA. Am I correct? It's going to be just kind of a warm thing, like, hey, listen. Or just like how Edge left. Like, just nice.
No, he's Cope now. They call his mama call him Cope, his papa call him Cope, so we call him Cope.
I'm sorry, that's Edge for me. That's Edge for life, aka Aries. Yeah. If you don't know, he is going to be in the Percy Jackson, streaming on Disney Plus. But anyway, so I think it's just another way for another door closes for another one to open. You understand? So yeah, you might be losing a fundamental star, but you just might gain a fundamental star, because it just seems like a lot of the roster over at WWE is not really too happy with how things are running, and there's a lot of talent that hasn't been used. So maybe it's time AEW went shopping, and maybe they'll just find their next big star.
Well, Jess, I think the thing, and Fernando's in the chat, and he has a really good message. He says, have you seen Jericho lately? He's washed out and out of shape. Why would WWE want him back with no worth? Maria just checks and she goes, hello, everyone. Hey, Maria, thank you so much for joining us. The thing,
so was Goldberg, but nobody wants to talk about it.
Well, Heel Vega told me, stop talking about Goldberg. I can't talk about Goldberg, and I can't talk about Hulk Hogan. But you know what, Fernando, you're right. I saw Chris Jericho on his podcast, and he was doing something with the Dudleys and the Hardys, and it did look like Chris Jericho came down in weight a little bit. I'll say this, the older you get, the harder it is for you to lose weight. So I don't know, but I think that he does have a lot of value in the WWE. I feel that when he leaves AEW, what that pretty much means is that they lose a creative mind. Granted, there are creative people there, but they're not Chris Jericho. They didn't wrestle in WCW, WWE, at high levels. Chris Jericho wasn't a big star in WCW. He was a star that was like, Chris Jericho was almost like the R-Truth in WCW. You knew he could do a little bit more. He wanted a little bit more. He just never got it. He had to go someplace else to get it. A locker room, he's a locker room leader, and ratings impact. I think that Chris Jericho was the best person to build AEW around because he had the highest name value. There was nobody else around AEW that anybody else nationally would have cared about. Yeah, of course, Cody Rhodes was there. Of course, the Young Bucks was there. Hangman Page was there. But there's nobody else that brought enough value to AEW the way that Chris Jericho did. And Tony Khan has been very careful with his public praise and without commitment. He's not saying that Jericho's not here. He's not saying that Jericho is here. What he's saying is that, he and Jericho have a really good working relationship, and he hoped that they can work together in the end. But just let me ask you this. When did you notice Jericho was gone? Do you think that AEW's silence mean that he was really leaving?
I didn't. Unfortunately sad. I was like, dang, it was so damn quiet. I didn't even pay it no mind. I was like, until one day somebody said it on social media, and it was just as simple as, hey, where's Chris Jericho? And then, it clicked to me, and I was like, dang. But I was like, between Chris and Edge again, I was like, dang, I don't see all the OGs like that no more. And then, of course, you saw Sting just the other night. So it was just like all an illusion or a distraction. Maybe. I thought it was, I don't think it was weird. I think it was quite wrestle-like. You know what I'm saying? Without making too much of a fuss. Could he have been hurt? Could he be on a book tour like AJ Lee? Or, he could be just doing other stuff.
He's playing music in his band Fozzy. And, and you guys watching, whether you're watching live or on demand, let us know as well, too. When do you first notice that Jericho was gone? Do you think the silence from AEW means that he's really leaving? Me personally, Jess, I'm going to be 100% transparent and honest with you. I didn't notice that he was gone.
See what I'm saying?
Because I didn't watch AEW. Don't get it wrong. From time to time, I go, oh, what are they doing? And don't get it wrong as well, too. I think that they have probably the best social media when it comes to, they have the best Instagram across pro wrestling. If you want to know what's happening on the pay-per-view without watching it, watch their Instagram. But I didn't realize that he was leaving. And then when I started realizing on the internet that everybody said he was leaving, I started looking into it. And I'm like, does the silence really mean that he's leaving? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if he's really leaving. But you know what? I think it's very fun for us to talk about what Maria says, that Maria agrees. Jess, Maria says, welcome back to you.
Hey, Maria.
Maria says that she agrees with Fernando that Chris Jericho looks a little bit more like Jelly Roll.
Oof.
Damn. Maria, who's now #1 in the chat, said that Silver Fox Sting looks awesome. Okay, well, Maria, I think that Sting, Silver Fox Sting, that he does it for you. That's all right. We all have our boos in pro wrestling.
It was, let's just say for me, that was very, very interesting to see. It was just like, first of all, again, I was like, dude, you're 60 and you're still wrestling.
Look, man, I wrestled Jimmy Snuka and I'm not talking about wrestling Jimmy Snuka. But now that we laid out Jericho's AEW status, so let's look at the major clues that fans are dissecting. they're looking at his next cruise. And I love it so much because I'm such a big cruise head. You know, Jericho has this cruise that he does, the Rock and Wrestling Rager. The 7th cruise of a 7th cruise ran by the Rager himself, Chris Jericho. But there's one thing that's different about this year's poster, about this year's advertisement that you don't see on all the other ones. What do you know what it is, Jess?
No, because let me tell you something, Trish. You have just introduced something to me I did not know.
About cruises?
I didn't know about no Rock and Wrestling cruise.
Oh yeah, it's real. God. It's a fun. From what I heard, it's a fun time. I can
only imagine.
So what goes on that cruise. So I'm gonna put what happens in the Caribbean stays in the Caribbean. That's what I say when I go on a cruise. Mind your business, grown folk stuff. But in every single Jericho cruise that they've had, Jess, there's always been AEW people there. There was even, I think maybe 2021 and 22. AEW Dynamite took place from there. There's no AEW superstars, wrestlers there. To me, is that a clue? Are we just reaching? You know, AEW talent has been there before, and they've even had the AEW logo there. Where's the AEW logo this time?
That may be true, or you know, on the more business side, times are crazy, and I don't think I think AEW knows that probably trying to do a cruise would not be the best feasible for us, like the fans and things of that nature. So I think that one might be like a quiet cancel, trying to kind of bow out of something like that because of the times that we're in, and possibly do something a little more financially friendly for the fans, maybe.
I've thought about that. Maybe some money thing for you to move everybody logistically. You got to pay for them on the cruise ship. You know, granted, they could eat, you know, but they still got to pay to be on the ship. Somebody's got to pay for it. So maybe it's not worth it for them to pay for it this year.
And drive the ship and everything else. And then now you got, and then what about the production?
True.
Who's going to put the ring together?
True.
And all these things, all these factors. And I'm just like, maybe that's more of a, let's try something more different than a cruise. You know what I'm saying? Maybe have just have like a little festival or something.
No, cruise all the way. I love cruising. It's the cheapest way to go on vacation and do everything. But Fernando fires out of the audience with a really good question. Fernando says, "What match would you like to see Jericho in WWE?" Jess, you have any matches in mind?
Okay, but I mean, Fernando, friend, you have just pointed out to us that this man is out of shape. Correct.
Ooh, good
okay.
Point. Good point.
So, wait.
Good point.
But so if you're saying Jericho in shape, Randy Orton, easy. Let's just kick it off. Randy Orton, John Cena, AJ Styles.
Well, John Cena leaving. But if I was going to put it against somebody, it would have to be somebody young. Put him in the ring with Braun Breaker. Put him in the ring with Bronson Reed. Put him in the ring with somebody who he can help them get to that next level. Because for me, I think investing.
But put him in there with Logan Paul. Where'd he go? Where did he go? I'm just asking. I was wondering. I was like, bro, he just
like dust. Like dust. Maria's asking, have either of you ever been on a cruise? Maria?
I love.
Girl, let me tell you, I love me a cruise. People always ask me, hey, where's the cruise going? Honestly, I don't know where it's going, but I know I'm not going to work. I love a cruise. I love a cruise because you could vacation the way that you vacation. And you know what? Maybe in the future I'll probably go on a Jericho cruise, but it's normally on Norwegian. I normally go on Carnival.
Ooh. Well, yeah, because that's where our people go. But unfortunately, I'm just saying, bro. But unfortunately, no, I have not taken a cruise. I have been out the country and I've done I think Trish don't. I mean, you watch the news just like I do. You know what's up with Carnival, bro.
Felt a little bit too political.
It's not political. At a time before they had all these rules and regulations, our people, that's what we did. We got on Carnival because, well, that's where
they don't call Carnival the Section 8 of cruising because they don't have any names to call it. Maria actually called out a really good match. She said, what about Chris Jericho versus LA Knight?
Ooh, How about I say, yeah, aren't they like at the time? Weren't they what's the same body?
I would love that. Saying that Jericho gets himself into some shape, that he's able to keep up with the WWE, with the young guys, the young people in the WWE. I would love to see him and LA Knight just on the microphone alone. I would love to see that. But I'm looking at this whole entire thing, and I say that AEW talent on no AEW talent on the cruise. Is this an oversight? Is Jericho scrubbing the deck of AEW ties so he can sail into WWE waters freely? When you look at the whole entire thing, Jess, it's heavy with former and current WWE performer presence, right? Like, so you got Dolph Ziggler, right? Nickname if he's there. Carlito, you know, the one that nobody really cared when he got fired, you know. Great Muta, you know, the one that did the whole spit thing first. You know, Shotzi Blackheart, Jeff Hardy, you know, but there's no confirmed AEW or ROH talent. I think that the significance of the change show that I think that fans believe, a lot of people believe that Jericho's distancing himself from AEW using the cruise. But honestly, though, Jess, I don't feel that way 100%, because what if it was a financial reason and Tony Khan was like, you know what, with the way that everything's looking, it's probably not financially feasible for us to go on the cruise again.
I think I'm going for the financial.
Yeah.
Because let's just think about the math here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We have just did this deal with ESP. Well, not ESPN. They did a deal with HBO Max.
Right.
Right. But still, Tony Khan is still the face of wrestling, period. Is it? And Tony Khan, when you think of Tony Khan, you think of all of them. WWE, NXT, AEW.
When I see Tony Khan?
Wait, am I thrown off? Is he not like the owner of TKO?
No. Tony Khan is the owner of AEW.
Okay, but I had seen him. I seen him on TV.
You've seen him on TV. Like. He always looks like he's coked out.
I have seen him on before, but I guess I get him confused with the owner of TKO, that guy.
It's probably because the TK and the TKO. Look, I get it, but I definitely think it could be a money thing. I don't think this is a good sign that's pointing to say that he's leaving. If I'm going to be looking at a reason for Chris Jericho to be leaving, this is not going to be way that I'm going to say that he's leaving. You know, but he could be planning post AEW freedom. You know what this signals about his 2026 plans once his contract is up? He's going to be aligning with more free agents, more former WWE people. You know, this could create a bridge to WWE friendly platforms. Like, look, you know, from what I understand, that everybody wants Jericho right now. Jericho is a hot commodity, and you know that Jericho doesn't have too much more time left in his career. Chris Jericho's closer to retirement than he was to starting, right? And they were saying that WWE may offer, and I don't know, it's room and innuendo. I'm not sitting in the room talking to Jericho or his agent, but they're saying that Jericho could get a lot of zeros in his contract, but you know what? He can get the same exact zeros in his AEW contract as well too. So if you were Chris Jericho, Jess, and I'm asking this to you guys in the comments as well too, if you were Chris Jericho, where would you want to retire, Jess?
I would say WWE because it just goes back to what I said about the Hall of Fame. Now, being so that John Cena, we only got maybe what we got now? 3?
Yeah.
We got maybe 3 more
4
appearances. 3, maybe 4 appearances.
Boston, the Garden, his retirement match, and Survivor Series 4.
4. So we only got 4 of them left, right?
Right.
Somebody has to be the next leading retirement star other than AJ. So you got to think of stuff. Who is going to wrestle AJ in his last couple of matches? Like, or other than John Cena, we got so many people whose contracts are quote unquote retired. You got the AJ Styles, you got the Miz, you got who else said they might be retiring out soon.
But the Miz is still young too, though. The Miz is still young. And you know what, Jess? I'm so glad you said that, because by him going to WWE just to retire, I wouldn't come in there off the gate as Jericho and say I'm going to retire, because it's a little bit too noisy right now with all the retirement news. Because you got Cena retiring, then you got AJ Styles retiring, and then then Jericho would come in and say he's retiring. Granted, by the time Jericho would get there saying that it's at Royal Rumble, Fernando thinks that it should be a surprise at the Royal Rumble, and I don't disagree or agree yet. Hold on to that, Fernando. But what I'm thinking is that it's just a little bit too messy. Jericho should just come in there, have a great time, and then maybe do a retirement towards the end. Because, you know, maybe he'll sign a 2-year contract with WWE and do his thing. But if Jericho's signing a contract, he's going to be doing it within the best interest for him and for his family. And I think that Jericho belongs to retire in the WWE. You know, everybody as a kid wants to wrestle for the WWE. Jericho's dad played hockey in the home of the WWE at Madison Square Garden. So why not go ahead? He wanted to work for the WWE. You knew Jericho would want to work for the WWE. Anybody that's a Northeast person definitely wants to work for the WWE, so why not Chris Jericho? I think that Jericho, though, he's quietly cutting ties with AEW. And at the cruise, they could be just logistics. You know, what do you think is behind the shift, Jess?
What do I think? Wait, one more time. Run that by me one more time. Because I'm about to say my tray, I had it, and then my little train of thought just left without me.
Damn, left you standing on the platform. So I was saying that I think that Jericho's quietly cutting ties. He could be quietly cutting ties with AEW. And is this just cruise logistics? What do you think is behind the shift?
It goes back to what I was saying, trying to open up a door when one is closing. When I was talking to you earlier, most of the PG era is coming to that time.
Well, Jericho was an Attitude Era guy.
Oh, well, Attitude Era, all the Attitude Era and kind of moving into PG era people are retiring out, or at least trying to find something else to do outside of wrestling.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I really think that Jericho, Big Daddy Cope, Christian, those are the only 3 people I could think of at the top of my head that are wrestling on mainstream television. Tommy Dreamer, that were around when the Attitude Era was out. So there's not that many Attitude Era people left.
You feel what I'm saying?
But when you look at PG, sorry, I'm not cutting you off. But when you look at PG, you still got Randy, because Randy was there. You know, you still got Rey Mysterio. Cena's leaving. Punk was there for the PG era. So yeah, you still got a handful of people from the PG era that are still in the WWE. Right.
But guess what? Look, but people, I didn't want to say people get old or stuff like that, but it seems like nowadays everybody's thinking about their health.
Sure.
And I think Tony Khan is also playing that into consideration as well. Think about this. Chris Jericho is how old?
Old enough to be my daddy. I don't know.
Old enough to be my dad as well, right? Old enough to be my father. AJ Styles said, look, I want to spend time with my family and everybody else while I'm still healthy.
Sure.
So honestly, I think a lot of our wrestlers from AEW, as far as the more older generation, they're just like, they're coming to that point where, look, I want to be here forever. I don't want to, well, at least be here long enough where I could train the next generation. You know what I'm saying? Because look, who's over there at LFG? You got Booker at LFG. You got Undertaker at LFG. Is that a Dudley brother?
Yeah, that's Bubba.
Yeah, that's Bubba at LFG and stuff. They're not going to want to do that forever. They're not going to want to do that.
That's easy. They get paid. That's really easy. But you see the thing though, Jess? Looking, you know, I was there when that generation from the 80s started retiring. That's when I was wrestling. When I was wrestling, the generation from the 80s, they were retiring. I wrestled in 2012. There's a baseball stadium in Brooklyn, right by Coney Island. It's a minor league stadium. That was the first time that I stepped into the ring with Jimmy Snuka, Nikolai Volkov, and Tito Santana. It was a 3-way match. You could find that somewhere on the internet. And, you know, it was like they were characters of themselves. I've wrestled on a show with Brutus the Barber Beefcake. I've wrestled on shows with Jim the Anvil Neidhart. I wrestled Jim the Anvil Neidhart. I've wrestled Tony Atlas. Those are people that I wrestled. And when you look at them, it's like, all right, they're just kind of here just for the money grab, you know, because they're still using their name, but they're not who they are. You know, they're not who they were. They're only a character of themselves. Yeah, you're the name, but you're not giving it. Jimmy Snuka, my friend, My friend Omar would be like, bro, I can't believe you made me pay money to come watch you get beat by Jimmy Snuka. Like, there's nothing special about Jimmy Snuka in this old age. Yeah, you're right. He was a frail man. He did the Superfly splash from the second rope. So it's like maybe this generation of wrestlers, they know to get out while the going is still good. You know, go out, you're on top, you've made the money. You know, they probably, you know, invested their money when they was younger. So now that they're older, they're not thirsty for the wrestling. Now, if you're going to call me to come out there and wrestle, you're going to pay for it. Granted, you know, they still have the conventions that they can do, but looking at the whole convention thing, when I was starting to wrestle, you had people from the 80s, right? And there wasn't that much people that really want to see them. And now you got these people like Sting, right? Granted, Sting was from the 80s as well too, but Sting has been recently on TV. So now when you're going to these conventions, these guys are making a lot of money and girls are making a lot of money because they've been recently on TV. It's easier to stay relevant in 2025 than you could have in 2005, all because of social media and the internet.
Okay, so that means, so based off of what you're saying, this is more of a viewership crisis.
No, not at all.
Like, follow me, because think about it. A lot of people on social media have been talking about the viewings of wrestling. Let's just say wrestling altogether, and I'm talking about every last one of them: Raw, SmackDown, TNA, NXT, AEW, the whole 90 yards. Everybody's been talking about the viewership of wrestling entertainment in general has been going down. So, and one of the best things, best ways that I've noticed is to get people coming back is to show people that they know, like Sting. Because everyone talks about it. They say, oh, the Attitude Era was the best era, but that was also when...
And it's subjective.
When wrestling was at this lowest peak as well.
Attitude was at the highest peak.
Not
the
really.
highest
Not when
peak.
It came down to TV and stuff like that.
No, they were doing some big buys during the Attitude Era. You see the thing though, too, compared to now, no. Compared to now, it's lower. But you got to think though that consumption for the audience consumption is different. Remember, I watch SmackDown in the UK. So when I'm in the UK, I'm not watching it on TV. I'm watching it on my iPad. I watch NXT in Australia. I'm watching on my iPad. Sitting right here. But when you're looking at the TV, the way that people consume, they're not watching on regular TV. You can watch AEW Dynamite not only on regular television, but you can stream it as well too. So the audience are split. But at the end of the day, in 2025 compared to 1995, the most important thing is your social media. How are people viewing you on social media? Because that's where the money is. WWE has the YouTube channel, WWE Vault, and the first time that I've ever heard them mention it is when they were talking about Rock and Wrestling. So now they decided, people like, oh, well, we want the WWE network because we want to be able to watch this and watch that. I sat here for 3 hours yesterday while I'm writing, because I'm writing a book right now, and I sat here for 3 hours with WWE Vault on the background. I'm just watching the same documentaries you'd watch on the WWE network. The advantage, I'm going to ask you, Jess, what's the advantage of the WWE putting it on YouTube versus selling it to Peacock or Netflix? What's the advantage? If you don't know, I'll tell you.
Yeah, tell me. Because I'm like, I just feel like, YouTube is a whole lot easier because, unless you pay for YouTube, YouTube is free. You could just get access that fast.
It's free for who? It's free for them to put the stuff on there. Right? Yeah. For the audience,
but that's because of ads. If y'all didn't know,
that's true, right?
People get paid as ads.
But for me, I spend the best $10, $12 a month is on my YouTube Premium. Not only is my big head here on YouTube, I watch a lot of YouTube. I was sitting here watching The Breakfast Club, before we started the show today. The advantage of WWE putting their whole entire library on YouTube is because there is no middleman. They don't have to split the funds with Peacock. They don't have to split the funds with Netflix. Don't get it wrong. There's still some money that's split, but I think it's just a general split for everybody else. When they're sitting there and they're doing their shows, people are active in the chat. Right, so it gives the audience. It gives the.
Oh man, you be seeing the craziest stuff on there.
But I'll tell you, like when you go from when you go from the cruise to the gram, we're going to talk about more about social media activity that sent the fans into detective mode. But I want to give the chat some love real quick. Maria says Jericho versus Punk in a peacemaker match. What is you mean pacemaker or peacemaker? Maria also says that Jericho should just retire and go nowhere. A lot of people on social media claim that to be very fatigued with Jericho. You know what? It might have been the same exact thing. That happened with Bianca Belair, with Mercedes Moné. It's not her. It's just the team that she plays for. Maybe everybody was fatigued because Jericho, redid himself like 12 times in 4 years. I don't know.
Okay, now that one I can understand. Ain't nobody trying to. We know who you are. You know what I'm saying? So you keep changing characters. That can get a little bit meh, like kind of all over the place.
But that's what made Jericho was changing his character.
Yeah, but again, it's more, more so of the, I don't want to say old school, you know what I'm saying? But the old, I'm going to just say what we all say, the old gods of wrestling.
Okay. But you always looked forward to Chris Jericho changing, right? You always looked forward to when Chris Jericho first came to WWE, that was probably one of the biggest things because you didn't know what the heck was happening. But looking at Jericho online, looking at his social media hints, he's on Instagram and he likes a post talking about his possible WWE return. It pretty much said that Chris Jericho's AEW deal ends on December 2025 and he's open to a WWE run depending on the situation. He liked the post. He liked the post, Jess, speculating a possible Royal Rumble return, and fans interpret that as subtle confirmation.
Oh man, 2026 Royal. Oh my God. Like it just goes back to what you said. That great story for LA Knight. Since, since I'm not saying he got moved to the back of the line for the World Heavyweight Championship, but he probably had to take a step back after losing the Battle Royale, which is something I actually would like to talk about one day. But
we'll probably talk about that next week. It's a hot topic.
Yeah,
it's a hot topic.
The roster over at Raw. I already told y'all the rosters both at Raw and SmackDown is a bit malnutrition for me.
Yeah.
Because why would you put Dominic Mysterio in the Battle Royale when he holds the IC title?
Well,
that was so silly to me. Like,
I think that's definitely going to be a conversation that we could definitely have next week. A lot of people are talking about that. But you see the whole thing, too, about the like of Chris Jericho liking that comment, Jess? It was just a like. What if Chris Jericho is really going to be a free agent, right? I don't know. I'm not into Chris Jericho's pockets. What if his deal really does run out in December 2025, and that was just his bargaining agreement, the way that he's bargaining? He didn't say that he was going to go to WWE, and he didn't say he was going to stay in AEW. But you know what? He liked the comment, and because he liked the comment, that automatically means that he's leaving? No, WWE.
I don't think he's leaving. No, but more so of, look, you're going to be seeing more of me
right
outside of AEW. I think it, like, again, goes back to the whole rumor of being selected for the Hall of Fame, and they haven't told nobody yet.
True. And I think that Jericho, he knows how to weaponize a like. I don't think that it was an accident. That I think it was more of a message to WWE creative, like saying, hey, I'm available, go ahead and make that call. Jericho also had a 35th year anniversary post that says, it ain't over yet. It's an open-ended tease about his next career step. That's why we're sitting here today. It got reactions from both WWE and AEW talent. And Chris Jericho had a top 5 career moments, and number 5 was blank. What is he saving it for? What's next? Is he suggest that there's a bigger moment still to come? Maybe that top 5 moment is going to be when he re-debuts in the WWE?
It's got to be. It's got to be. I don't know what else? What else can you possibly be doing? What else? What, you're gonna be a commentator at NXT?
But he was the commentator in AEW.
I'm just saying, hey.
He was.
I'm just saying, are you gonna what's happening? Or are you going to TNA? Oh Lord Jesus.
Well, it sounds like from what I've been reading online, everybody wants him. And Fernando, I agree. Fernando comes into the chat and says that Jericho's a smart businessman. Right, I agree. You know, at the end of the day, it's all about how many O's you can put at the end of the first number, right? And hopefully that first number is not an O. And I think that by Jericho doing this, if he stays with AEW, I promise you that AEW is probably going to pay $1 more than he's going to get from WWE. You know, do you think that Chris Jericho's trolling or quietly teasing a WWE return? Which social clue do you think hit you the hardest, Jess? Was it the 35th year anniversary post or the one where he liked the comment?
The anniversary post itself. I mean, 35 years is a very big stepping milestone.
That's a long time.
It's a lot of time.
At my job, Jess, when people are there 35, when people are at my job for 35 years, you're like, yo, bro, you don't got nothing else that you want to do? Like, people do 25 and get out, but 35 years, nothing wrong. If you still feel good, why not? Chris Jericho is used to...
Why not?
And in this day and age, Chris Jericho can negotiate a contract to where he doesn't even have to work that hard. So he can still preserve his body, still stay with his family, and still make music.
Yep. Oh, yeah. And then make music. So, yeah, could be seeing a Chris Jericho album. Who knows? Or, you know, just talking about WrestleMania. What if him and his band decides to become somebody's opening theme song?
It would only have to be his. It would be nobody else. It would only have to be his. But looking at the social media clues, Jess, there's one thing. And up next, we're going to be seeing what the companies are saying. But first, here's what we got. Thursday, live like never before. It's Stream-A-Mania. 5 hours, 5 blocks, 1 pro wrestling super stream. WWE, AEW, TNA, nothing's off limits. Hour 1, I'm kicking things off solo. Hour 2, Jess the Active. She joins me to talk women in pro wrestling. Hour 3, a debate you don't want to miss. Hour 4, our main event feature. And Hour 5, I'm closing it down. After dark, one-on-one with you. It's live, it's raw, and it may never happen again. Don't miss the first ever Stream-A-Mania, Thursday, November 6th, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. in the UK. Live and only on YouTube. Looking forward to having you at Stream-A-Mania. Be a part of Stream-A-Mania November 6th. Call the promo hotline 973-826-0101. Become a part of the show because Hour 5 is just going to be me and you. You can ask me any single thing that you want. Don't wait until the day because I'm going to close the line. I'm going to close the line a couple days before, so make sure you get your calls in now. If you want to be a part of Stream-A-Mania, call, leave your name, where you're calling from, and leave your question. Ask me anything you ever want to know. You want to know something about pro wrestling? Call that hotline. I know that me and Jess, we can't wait to have you at Stream-A-Mania. Because Jess, hour 2 is you. You're representing the woman.
Yes. So yes, you guys, you have to lock in. You got to lock in, y'all, because if you're new to this, I am a full woman wrestler advocate, 100%. Black, white, pink, green, yellow, does not matter. And I'm about to say, hey, listen, all I want to do is represent you and show that, you know, in a very male-centered world, women can reign supreme. I mean, look at Mercedes, Thanos, Shay Banks. Just saying.
Today we're talking about should Chris Jericho quietly leave AEW, and Maria says that it's too late to tell Chris Jericho to preserve his body. Look, man, Maria is savage in the chat. 2 chats in a row. She is savage.
Frying my man Jericho.
She is savage.
Jesus.
She's deep frying Chris Jericho. She also said that Jericho should go into creative though when he calls it quits. He has a brilliant mind for wrestling.
There you go. Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? That's not a bad look for him.
Not at all. I love it. Because why not put former wrestlers in the writer's room? Why not?
Sure. Hey, you know what's funny? Wrestling has a history of always being booked by the wrestlers. And WWE is the one that want to get people from Hollywood and stuff in there because they want to get like TV quality style storylines, and they get that. But there should still be some pro wrestling influence inside the wrestling ring. But
right, just influence, not full pulling the strings like what Sami Zayn did.
But But when you look at what the companies are saying, Tony Khan, he's real cautious when it comes to his comments. You know, he calls Jericho really important. That's Tony Khan right there, Jess, on the right side. You know, I think that
that little scrawny little thing.
Yeah, and I tell you that he looked coked out all the time. All the time he looks coked out. Look, like, bro.
Oh, that ain't who I thought that.
Oh, yeah, you were thinking about Nick Khan. I think you were thinking about.
Woof.
Yeah. Let me tell you, he looks coked out all the time. But, you know, he avoids the contract talk. And you know, just go online, go on social media. Or you could just Google, does Tony Khan do cocaine? And people voice their opinion. I don't know. I don't say that he does. I say that he looks like there's a difference. But what I think that the whole entire thing does, though, the way that Tony Khan is doing, Tony Khan is handling this like a professional. If Chris Jericho's not there right now, maybe they're in the negotiation phase right now. And what he's doing is being polite. He's being professional. Tony Khan is the kind of businessman that he will allow you to burn the bridge. He'll allow you to burn the bridge, and he's not going to be the one that burns it. But what he does is he keeps the door open, but he doesn't confirm the future. Maybe Tony Khan's praise is preemptive damage control. He knows Jericho's already halfway out the door, and he wants to stay on his good side. Because if there's ever a Hall of Fame in AEW, Chris Jericho belongs in it. 100%. We're not even thinking about it.
Who is going into the Hall of Fame, and at least what matches are going in?
Oh, that's right. They do matches now. Right.
They add matches and tag teams now. So, you know, Stephanie McMahon. Like, think about it. Picture Stephanie McMahon, Chris Jericho, the Dudley brothers. I believe there might be already in there.
The Dudley boys are already in there. They were put in 2019.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, I believe they're already in there. So the next tag
or 2018. Are they in there yet? Who?
The Hardys?
The Hardys are not in there yet. The only teams from TLC that are in there are Edge and Christian and the Dudleys, but the Hardys are not in there yet. But you see, I'm really concerned about putting Chris Jericho in there because it depends who is going to be the star. If Chris Jericho's in there, he's the biggest star. But you know, why not John Cena? Why not retire John Cena in the Hall of Fame this year? John Cena has a Hall of Fame career. You can't have John Cena and Chris Jericho in the same exact thing. Let's go back to giving people the Hall of Fame once they're done retiring, once they're done in the ring. And I think that if we're looking to put anybody in the Hall of Fame this year, it's going to be Chris Jericho. I'll tell you this, Jess, that is such a hot topic. Everybody wants to talk about who's going into the Hall of Fame. And last WrestleMania season alone, I think I made 3 or 4 episodes on who was going to go into the WWE Hall of Fame. And people just love it. They'll eat it up. But Chris Jericho's own like comments, right? His own statement. Well, we'll just have to see on Busted Open. And Busted Open is part of the reason why I'm sitting here today. And Chris Jericho is really big friends with Dave LaGreca, Bully Ray, you know, and everybody else that's over there. But AEW does confirm that the deal does end in December. WWE's interest behind the scenes, there's strong interest in a 2026 return. And Jericho's set to be on good terms with WWE. He didn't do anything wrong.
No, he did not. But you know,
Maria says that Razor versus HBK ladder match should be the next match inducted into the Hall of Fame. What about
inducted to the Hall of Fame? I was like, I know you didn't just ask HBK to come from being a manager. Like, no, he's not doing that.
I think if they're going to put any match in there, it should be Diesel versus HBK for the championship. What was that, WrestleMania 11? I'm just freestyling right now. That would be a hell of a match to put inside that Hall of Fame.
I like that idea, but I'll say when we start talking about Hall of Fame again, then I'll have an answer for you.
Okay, well, you got plenty of time to think about it. But AEW's their silence has been really internal, right? No creative being built around Chris Jericho, likely preparing for a departure. You know, people say that maybe Chris Jericho is just not planning to leave right away. There's no talk of a Pharaoh tour and no Hall of Fame yet. I don't think that he should be in the Hall of Fame yet. Maybe
not. But I know the clock is ticking.
It sure is.
The clock is ticking, or, you know, could be as simple as this. Like, hey, I'm going to just take some time and do a movie.
Nah, he's not a movie guy. He's not a movie guy. He's a rock star. That's what he's been doing. He's he's been doing the whole Rockstar thing. When he used to do the Rockstar Fozzy thing in WCW, I was so young that I couldn't tell who was who. I didn't know if it was really Chris Jericho. I'm like, he looked like Chris Jericho. The internet wasn't really that big at the time to go ahead and figure it out. Because remember, there's one time in the 90s that we thought that Marilyn Manson was the guy from the Wonder Years. But, you know, if you know, you know. But
look, and that's something I'm about to say might be a little, I know I'm a little too young to know that one, but I do know that one.
If Jericho's walking, we've got to ask the big one. How could he return to the WWE and when? Only way that I see that him returning based on his contract is Royal Rumble 2026 in Saudi Arabia. You know, Jericho would be a legal free agent by then because the most important part is legal. They have to be, they can't be under contract and be talked to by somebody else. That could be called tampering, right? And that's could cause
interest.
Right? They could be called for tampering, and they could end up spending a lot of money in the court. But I can definitely see Jericho coming back for the Royal Rumble. Fernando mentioned it earlier. That would be a great surprise. Have him coming at number 30 maybe. You know, but big shorty shows, they love those major comebacks. I think that the last time Jericho wrestled in the WWE was Greatest Royal Rumble in 2019, if my memory serves me correctly. But with fan booking fever though, Y2J definitely everybody on the internet says return him at number 30 would break the walls down. I agree. I think there should be subtle hints that Jericho's coming back, but don't have it tie into Jericho. You know, everybody's going to say that is Jericho, but don't confirm that is Jericho. I think when there's a final four, I'm going to ask you this, Jess. I'm going to ask everybody in the chat as well too, whether you're watching live or demand. If Chris Jericho returns at the Royal Rumble in 2026, there should be a stare down. It should be Chris Jericho and 3 other people. Who are those 3 people that you choose, Jess?
You said 2026, right? 2026. This is next year.
The next one that is coming in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, you said 3. All right.
So Chris Jericho's AJ. 1. Who's the other 3?
AJ.
Okay.
LA.
Okay.
And if we're going to throw a youngin in there, I like one of the new ones, either Braun Breaker or, hey, I'll even give Mr. Mysterio a try. Why not?
If I was,
because
go ahead. No, go ahead, ladies before gentlemen.
I was just thinking, spitballing on this. I'm like, Damo knows who Chris Jericho is. I mean, he watched him. He was sitting right there in the room while they was doing the whole Eddie Gordo, Rey Mysterio storyline. He was there. Right? So, you know, you could be just staring down like, hey, little lover. You know, I'm trying not to cuss over here. So, hey, I know you. Like, it'll like mush him away or something.
So Fernando says that he's thinking of hot takes to call in for Stream-A-Mania. Look, Fernando, let's make it hot. Make it hot. Remember, my mother might be watching, so don't make it too hot. I think if I'm going to put the 4 people in the ring, with Chris Jericho when he comes back, number 1, Cody Rhodes, hands down. Hands down, because Cody Rhodes is now the boss. Now he appears in AEW.
Yeah,
Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns. When Chris Jericho left WWE, Roman Reigns was still eating dog food. LA Knight.
I love Roman. Hey, listen, I'm trying to keep my little Roman wrapped up in bubble paper. Okay, if you're a fan of Roman Reigns, that like I'm a fan of Roman Reigns, you understand why I'm saying that. Like, no, between him and John, I want to wrap them up in bubble paper.
I don't know. I don't know what that means. That sounds kind of like kinkish.
Shut up, Trish. No, it's that because they're sick. But I don't want to say like they're ill all the time. Like I believe doesn't Roman have lupus?
Nah, he had leukemia. I think he's probably
leukemia.
He's on the good side
it's
now.
One of the L's.
Yeah. He's on the good side now. But I really feel that those are the 4 that he should put in there. LA Knight should be one of the people. You know, Cody Rhodes was the boss. You know, Cody was his boss, and now they're pairs. Roman Reigns was eating dog food. He had dog food being pressed into his face on an episode of SmackDown. He was literally almost a nobody. You know, and then LA Knight is part of the future of pro wrestling. I don't care what anybody says. Like I said, I can't wait for them to be standing there, you know. But then again, in order for Cody Rhodes to be in that match, he would actually have to not have the WWE Undisputed Universal Galaxy Championship. So it would have to be, okay, so I'm going to amend it. It can't be Cody Rhodes. So if I want to put somebody, I'd put Braun Breaker. I would definitely put Braun Breaker. Cody.
See, I knew you agree with me on that one about Braun.
Yeah. It would have to be Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker's the future. He's the future. Whether you like Braun Breaker or not, he's the future of pro wrestling. He has the lineage in pro wrestling. Anybody that has their head on the pillow and not paying attention to Braun Breaker, slap yourself and wake up and apologize because you're missing. You're missing it.
You're missing it.
You know, I used that line for my audition today.
You did?
Yeah, I can't tell everybody what I auditioned for.
You then.
Can't tell them what I auditioned for. Jess knows what I auditioned for, but I auditioned for something pro wrestling related, and hopefully it happens. When it does happen, you know, definitely you guys will know about it. You know, you guys will know about it, and I can't wait to go out there and act the whole fool for the whole world to see. And then, you know, people like Maria, Fernando, Universal, you know, Chris, Heel Vega, they're going to be like, yo, that's my guy. They're going to be like, yo, I know him.
Like, I know him.
Right.
Hey, I was like, oh, shit, it's trash.
Right.
Oops.
So make sure you guys keep it locked here to the Tristan Law Show. You know, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, because, you know, when things happen here, you don't want to miss it, because when I tell you that I am doing big things here on this channel, I am doing big things here, and they involve every single person. We're doing some big things in here. 2026 is going to be great.
Yes, give yourself a round of applause, Trish. You are the bomb. Yes. Everybody give him his flowers. Flowers.
But I think, though, that the 2026 Royal Rumble, I think that, though, it's going to be Jericho's curtain call. It's not going to be a return, and I think it's going to be the first step towards his Hall of Fame induction story arc. It's inevitable. It has to happen. It has to happen. Maria says that LA Knight is in his mid to late 30s. How is he the future? Actually, you know what, Maria?
Hey, hold on now.
I think that.
Hold on now.
About to say, I think he's older than that.
He is. He's like, I think double check. I believe
he's older than me.
The age of 38 or.
His birthday is November 1st.
It is.
Yeah, his birthday is November 1st. Maybe we could have a LA Knight birthday party here and invite him and see if he shows up.
Happy birthday to you.
Right? Right?
Yeah,
that'd
42.
be cool.
So, well, no, see, he's not that bad. He ain't that old. He's 42.
That's right, Maria. Watch your mouth.
He's not that bad. And then Cody, I believe Cody's like.
Cody's my age. Cody's 40.
So how? Maria.
Right? I think Cody's my age.
Like Maria, LA might be. It might be. Yeah.
Cody is literally 2 months older than I am.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, Cody's 2 months older than I am.
2 months older. Yeah. Nice. Oh, wait, me. Oh, so your birthday's in April.
My birthday's in August, and his is in June. Yeah, so he's 2 months older. He's born first. Yeah.
Oh, 2 months older.
2 months older.
Okay.
Yeah.
August.
Yeah. Write it down.
Nice.
I expect a gift. I like money, food. You know.
Hello. Right. So, anything. That's the typical. I love money and food.
Fernando says that LA Knight should be winning the world championship instead of Punk or Jay. You know what? God, it's such a hot topic. You know what? How about we talk about that on Monday?
How about that? How about we talk about that? Because yes, I don't condone Jay Uso slander.
Hey, whoa,
I'm sorry.
Whoa, Jess, you can't just
Jay Uso.
You can't just give it to them so quick. Make them work for it a little bit. But
I'm just gonna lay it right there, like.
So that's going to be Monday's show, but I think that WWE makes sense right now for Chris Jericho because he's got fresh matchups. He's got Gunther. He's got AJ Styles. I don't think he's ever wrestled AJ Styles. He might have, but not in the WWE. You know, he got the Hall of Fame. He got the WrestleMania. He got the whole legacy arc. AEW still has value, though. I don't say to throw AEW out into the garbage all the way because there's loyalty to the brand that he helped build. Granted, AEW would have figured it out, but AEW would have probably been still trying to figure it out if it wasn't for for Chris Jericho. AEW was able to have a star that they can make WWE people turn the channel and watch just to see. The thing that Jericho did, though, in AEW that I would love for him to do in WWE if he comes over there is he continue to elevate young talent. I think that's important. But what's at stake either way? Shaping legacy moments with WWE, and that equals full circle entertaining. With AEW, I think that equals the rebel who never looked back. He went to WWE, he left WWE and never looked back. The question I'm asking everybody right now, would you rather see Jericho shock the world at the Royal Rumble or double down and stay loyal to AEW?
Man, shake the world, man. Come back over to WWE. Let's shake it up a bit. Since everybody is whining and complaining about booking and storytelling, let's give the people. Let's see what happens when you actually do give the people what they want. Are you going to whine and complain, or are you going to accept it?
When I'm looking at this whole thing, though, Jess, I think that there's when it comes to loyalty, there should only be two things that Chris Jericho should be loyal to. Go ahead and take a crack. What do you think those two things that Chris Jericho should be loyal to?
His legacy and his health.
I think that if Chris Jericho is going to be loyal to anything, it needs to be his money and his family. At the end of the day, at this stage in his career, nothing else matters in Chris Jericho's career. What is left for Chris Jericho to prove? Chris Jericho was the first ever person in the WWE to hold the World Heavyweight Championship and the WWE Championship at the same exact time when he unified them. He was the first ever person to do that. He was the second AEW champion? Because John Moxley was the first one. I don't know. I don't want to have to go back and look that up. What is left for Chris Jericho to prove? There's nothing left for him to prove in pro wrestling. The only thing Chris Jericho should be looking for is the money and taking care of his family. Those are the only thing else that matters. Nothing else should be important to AEW, to Chris Jericho. So where should he go? To whoever is going to scratch his itch the best.
And right now, and honestly, I think that would be Team WWE right now. Well, maybe not now. If not now, if in not the 2025, 2026 year, then definitely the 2026, 2027
Well,
year.
With the clock ticking, though, the Rumble rumors, they're heating up. It's getting hot. And that's why that time of year, it's going to be so great. Maybe, you know what? Maybe they could leave Chris Jericho off of AEW if he's still there until after the Rumble or around the Rumble. That could really drive a stake in the heart of the Royal Rumble. But we're going to wrap this up with my final take. Maria says that that means that I can still be world champion, Tristen. You know what, Maria? They always say, never say never. Fernando says that there's nothing left for Jericho to do in AEW. I agree. I think his purpose in life, if that was his purpose that God put him on the earth for, I think he did it. There's nothing more that he left to do. But when you look at the whole entire thing, no matter where you stand, one thing's clear. Chris Jericho is once again the most unpredictable man in pro wrestling. He's an AEW original. He's a WWE legend and the master of reinvention. He's the king of cliffhangers. Whether he's surprising us at the Royal Rumble or pulling one more swerve by staying put, the next few months will shape his final act. Thank you so much for rocking with us today, Jess. Jess, to let everybody know what we'll be talking about on Monday. I told you.
Well, y'all asked for it. Now we're going to talk about it. I was like, we talked about Chris Jericho, and now we done, the light bulb above my head went off. We got to talk about Monday Night Raw. Y'all.
We have to. We have to talk about.
We've
got to talk about Jey Uso and CM Punk. And the other thing I want to talk about as well too next week, Jess, is there's a rumor. There's a rumor circulating around pro wrestling that Edge could be coming back to wrestle John Cena. I don't know, but
I don't know.
Did Chris Jericho quietly leave AEW to go break down the walls again in the WWE? We don't know. You got to keep it locked. My name is Tristen Law, and she's Jess the Captain. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Make sure that you are here for Stream-A-Mania November 6th, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. in the UK. I'm Tristen Law. Make sure you join us on November 1st No, November 2nd, we're going to be doing a recap for Saturday night's main event. Thank you so much. See you next time.
Windowless ride, feeling alive, nothing in sight, forever in flight. Follow those lines, we'll make it this time. Blurry street lights.